Before science, before religion, there were the Hermetics, guardians of secret laws that govern everything from the stars in the sky to the emotions in your heart. Today, we unveil those 7 timeless truths and how they still shape your life. The principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. Imagine waking up to the realization that everything around you, the sky, the stars, the phone in your hand, the thoughts in your head, is not just made of matter, but of mind. This is the first and perhaps most powerful Hermetic principle, mentalism. It states that the universe is a mental creation. In other words, the physical world we perceive is actually a manifestation of a deeper, invisible consciousness, often referred to as the all in Hermetic teachings. This means your mind isn't just part of the universe. It is the universe, localized. Everything you think, feel, or visualize ripples through this field of consciousness and shapes reality. Think of your mind as a projector and the world as the screen. Whatever film you load into your mental projector becomes the life you watch unfold around you. This is not metaphor. It is ancient mystic science, and modern quantum physics is beginning to echo this truth. Mystics and magicians of old knew this secret. They guarded it carefully, taught it through symbols, and lived by it in quiet power. When you accept that the all is mind, you begin to see that you are not a passive observer in the universe. You are a co-creator. This principle invites you to take responsibility for your thoughts, because they are not just internal. They are the seeds of external events. Negative thoughts create inner tension and outer chaos. Elevated, peaceful thoughts magnetize harmony and insight. Mentalism also means that if you want to change anything in your life, you must begin within. Whether it's a relationship, career, or your sense of self, the process starts in the silent, sacred chambers of the mind. Not through force, but through focused awareness, visualization, and belief. From ancient Egyptian priests to Renaissance alchemists, those who mastered mentalism were able to access states of peace, clarity, and influence far beyond the average person. You can do the same, right now, by choosing your thoughts like spells, and your mind like a temple. So, the next time life feels out of control, remember, the universe began as a thought, and so does your reality. Mystic practice. Each morning, visualize the day you want to live. Speak your thoughts out loud. Set intentions not just for actions, but for how you wish to think and feel. And when the mind wanders, gently guide it back, like a master returning to the sacred altar of creation. The principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. There is a hidden symmetry in the cosmos, a silent echo that connects the vastness of galaxies to the quiet of your breath. This is the ancient Hermetic truth of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. It's not poetry. It's a spiritual law that binds all levels of existence. At its core, this principle reveals that the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the individual, reflect each other. Just as stars swirl in galaxies, so do electrons spiral in atoms. Just as wars rage in nations, inner turmoil brews in the soul. The patterns repeat, from the smallest to the greatest. This is cosmic mirroring. When you look into the sky, you are looking at yourself. When you explore your emotions, you are exploring the hidden geometry of existence. The outer world is a mirror of your inner world. This means that if you wish to transform what's around you, you must begin by transforming what's within you. This is the secret known to mystics, sages, and shamans. They didn't try to manipulate the external world first. They purified the heart, mastered the breath, disciplined the mind, and then the world around them changed. Look at nature. The tree's roots grow as deep as its branches stretch toward the heavens. That is correspondence. In the spiritual realm, divine truths are echoed across dimensions. The same patterns that shape the stars shape your thoughts. This principle also offers a key to understanding higher realms. Because we cannot see divine planes directly, we must study their reflections here below. This is why sacred geometry, astrology, and the elements were so central to Hermetic study. They are mirrors of higher order. In daily life, this principle reminds you to observe your patterns. What's happening outside is often a reflection of what you carry inside. Toxic relationships? Perhaps there's unhealed hurt. Constant confusion? Maybe clarity within has been neglected. Harmony outside follows harmony within. Mystic practice. Before reacting to external chaos, pause. Ask, what within me is being mirrored here? Journal your thoughts. Meditate on the phrase, as above, so below. As within, so without. Let it become your compass when life feels fragmented. Remember, you are a universe in miniature, and by knowing yourself, you know the stars. The principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. There is no such thing as stillness. Not in matter, not in energy, not even in thought. Everything in the universe, from galaxies to atoms, from emotions to ideas, is in a state of vibration. This is the timeless truth of the third Hermetic principle, vibration. When you look at a rock, you may think it's still, but at the quantum level, its atoms are buzzing with motion. The same goes for your body, your aura, your feelings. Ancient mystics understood this long before science caught up. They knew that to master vibration is to master life. In Hermetic philosophy, vibration is the foundation of manifestation. Everything that exists does so because it vibrates at a certain frequency. Your thoughts have a frequency. Your emotions emit a resonance. Even your words carry vibrational power. When you're angry, your body vibrates at a denser, slower frequency. When you're joyful or in love, the vibration is lighter, faster, more expansive. That's why being around someone peaceful feels healing. Their vibration affects yours. The ancients used this principle in sacred chants, mantras, and music. Sound was not just entertainment. It was a vibrational tool for awakening consciousness. The right sound could heal the body, calm the mind, or open spiritual gateways. Everything you say, hear, or think affects your field of vibration. This also explains why environments matter. Places, people, even objects carry vibration. When you walk into a temple or an ancient forest, you feel peace. Not just because it's beautiful, but because it vibrates differently. Similarly, toxic environments pull your frequency downward. But here's the mystical key. You're not a prisoner of your frequency. You can raise your vibration intentionally through breath, meditation, kindness, visualization, movement, and silence. You can shift your entire energetic state and change the way the universe responds to you. This principle is especially powerful for manifesting. When your thoughts and emotions vibrate in alignment with what you desire, reality starts to bend. It may not happen instantly, but the shift has begun. Like tuning into a radio frequency. When you're in sync, you hear the music. Mystic practice. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel the vibration of your body, the pulse, the tingling, the breath. Now imagine raising your frequency like turning a dial. See yourself surrounded by a golden field of high vibration. Throughout the day, check in. What frequency am I on? If it's low, shift it with intention, because nothing rests, and you have the power to choose your vibration. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. What if I told you that darkness and light are not enemies but siblings? That love and hate, cold and heat, fear and courage are not different things, but different degrees of the same thing. This is the secret at the heart of the fourth Hermetic principle, polarity. In the Hermetic view, everything in existence is dual, but not separate. Every quality, every force, every emotion exists on a spectrum, not as absolutes. Take temperature. Cold and hot aren't two different forces. They're the same energy vibrating at different rates. Just as light and dark are not separate entities, but different intensities of illumination. This realization unlocks an extraordinary spiritual truth. You can shift any condition by sliding along its scale. Hate can be softened into indifference, and then into love. Fear can be elevated into courage. Weakness can become strength, not through opposition, but through transmutation. Mystics, alchemists, and sages have always known true magic is not destruction, but transformation. To change pain into purpose, shadow into light, ego into essence. That is the divine art. When life brings you challenge, this principle teaches you to ask, what is the other pole? If you feel lost, it means there is also clarity nearby, because both must exist. The deeper the sorrow, the greater the potential for joy. The colder the winter, the warmer the fire. Polarity also invites you to embrace wholeness. We are not meant to be only light or only shadow. We are meant to balance both, to understand each pole not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Night teaches the value of day. Grief deepens the capacity to love. It is through contrast that we gain depth. This principle is also practical. When you're stuck in a negative state, don't fight it. Shift your position on the pole. Use movement, breath, music, reflection, anything that raises your vibration to a better frequency on the same scale. And in others too, recognize polarity. Someone acting in hatred may be far from love, but they are still on the same scale. With compassion, we can help them shift, just as we shift ourselves. Mystic practice. Sit in silence. Think of a strong emotion, like fear or anger. Now ask, what is the opposite pole of this feeling? Slowly visualize yourself shifting along the emotional scale, breathing in the energy of the opposite. Practice this often. Polarity mastery is spiritual alchemy. Remember, opposites are not enemies. They are reflections of the same essence, waiting to be balanced by your awareness. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. Look at the ocean. Watch the tide come in, then out. The moon waxes, then wanes. Day becomes night, and night becomes day. Your heartbeat pulses, then rests. Life moves, always, inevitably, in rhythm. This is not random, it is law. And it is the foundation of the fifth Hermetic Principle, rhythm. Everything flows, out and in. In Hermetic wisdom, this flow is not just natural, it's cosmic. From your breath to the stars' orbits, everything dances to the universal beat. There is rise and fall, expansion and contraction, creation and destruction. And once you begin to notice it, you'll see it everywhere. Emotions move in rhythm. Joy crests and dips into sadness. Energy flows high in the morning and fades at night. Even your thoughts have tides, sometimes clear, sometimes cloudy. This isn't failure or imbalance. This is nature in motion. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance brings mastery. The great Hermeticists did not fight the rhythm. They learned to ride it, like ancient sailors riding the waves of the deep. They understood that sorrow will visit, but so will joy. That fortune rises and then falls, only to rise again. That we are never truly stuck, but simply in a downward arc, waiting for the upward swing. Rhythm also explains karma, growth, and even history. Civilizations rise and collapse. Trends surge and fade. Energies build and release. When you grasp this, you stop reacting blindly and begin to align your life with the deeper tide of time. One of the greatest mystical insights is this: you can use rhythm to predict, prepare, and even protect. When you know the wave is coming, you can surf it. When a low phase arrives, you can rest, reflect, and prepare for the next rise. This is spiritual timing. It also brings great peace. In moments of pain, remember, this too shall pass. In times of joy, stay humble, knowing the wave may fall, but will return again. All things are in motion, nothing remains still. Mystic practice. Observe your personal rhythms. Notice your moods, energy cycles, creative flows. Chart them like a mystic calendar. Then begin to live by your natural tide, not against it. Schedule rest during your dips. Create during your peaks. Dance to the universe's drumbeat, not the artificial pace of the world. Rhythm is not chaos. It is the heartbeat of the cosmos. And when you move in tune with it, you become a master of time itself. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. There are no coincidences in the universe. Every leaf that falls, every word spoken, every thought you think, echoes through time, shaping reality. This is the essence of the sixth Hermetic Principle, cause and effect. In a world governed by this law, nothing happens by chance. What we often call luck or fate is simply an effect whose cause we haven't yet perceived. Everything is connected in a vast, invisible web, a chain of causes stretching endlessly in both directions. This principle teaches that you are not merely an observer of life, you are a powerful cause within it. Your actions ripple outward. Your choices set forces in motion. Even your thoughts and emotions are causal forces. Every decision, every intention is a seed, and every seed will bear fruit, whether you're aware of it or not. The ancient Hermeticists knew, if you can understand the causes, you can predict and shape the effects. This is not superstition. This is spiritual science. A master of this principle becomes a conscious creator. They no longer blame the world. They no longer ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, they ask, what caused this? And what can I cause next? This is the root of karma, but not in the passive sense of punishment or reward. Karma is simply the law of action and reaction. If you plant kindness, you grow peace. If you sow deceit, you reap confusion. The universe does not judge. It reflects. The mystic's path is to move from being an effect of outer forces to becoming a cause aligned with divine will. No longer a pawn in fate's game, but a co-creator of destiny. This requires presence, awareness, and the courage to respond, not react. This principle also applies to the inner world. Your habits are effects of past causes, upbringing, thoughts, environment. But you can become a new cause at any moment. One choice, one thought, can shift the entire trajectory of your life. That is the true power of this law. Mystic practice. Spend one day in deep observation. Every time something happens, pause and ask, what was the cause of this? Then ask, what will this action I'm about to take cause? Over time, this awareness builds a life of intentional creation rather than blind reaction. Remember, you are the source of ripples that will move through time long after today. Choose wisely. Cause wisely. The principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. At the very heart of the universe, two forces dance in eternal union. Not man and woman, but something deeper. Masculine and feminine energies, coexisting in every atom, every soul, every star. This is the sacred truth behind the seventh Hermetic principle, the principle of gender. Hermeticism teaches that gender exists on all planes, physical, mental, and spiritual. It is not limited to biology or identity. It is the creative polarity that allows all things to exist. Nothing can be created, nothing can evolve, without the union of these two principles. The masculine principle is associated with action, logic, structure, direction. It is the sun, the fire, the force that projects. The feminine principle is associated with intuition, receptivity, nurturing, and creation. It is the moon, the water, the force that receives and gives birth. Neither is superior. Both are essential. In your mind, this plays out as will and imagination. The masculine focuses thought. The feminine nurtures it into manifestation. The masculine says, I will. The feminine says, I allow. When balanced, this inner marriage produces insight, power, and creativity. But when unbalanced, one force dominates the other, leading to extremes. A purely masculine approach leads to cold logic, dominance, suppression. A purely feminine approach leads to chaos, passivity, stagnation. The goal is not to eliminate one, but to integrate both. Mystics through time have worked toward this inner alchemy, the sacred union of opposites. In ancient temples, rituals symbolize this merging. In yogic traditions, it's Shiva and Shakti. In alchemy, it's the sun and moon united in the sacred androgyne. In Hermetic thought, it's simply the power to create. This principle also explains human attraction, polarity, and balance. Relationships thrive when both energies are honored, not just in others, but within ourselves. A spiritually evolved being is not strictly masculine or feminine, but whole. They know when to act and when to allow, when to speak and when to listen, when to lead and when to receive. Mystic practice. Sit quietly and tune into your current energy. Are you in a space of pushing, solving, controlling, masculine? Or receiving, flowing, intuiting, feminine? Neither is wrong, but balance is sacred. Throughout the day, notice which energy is dominant and call in its counterpart when needed. Over time, you'll develop a harmonious rhythm of divine polarity within. You are not one or the other. You are the sacred dance between both. And through their union, all things are born.